Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Natalia Moczulska, and this is the news. According to unofficial information, Polish President Andrzej Duda is expected to announce the date of the parliamentary elections on Monday. It will be on October 15th. In addition to voting for deputies and senators, a referendum on the admission of immigrants is likely to be held. Although the campaign has not officially started, pre-campaigning is underway. Already at the end of July, the President of Law and Justice, Jarosław Kaczyński, assured that the elections will be held within the constitutional deadline. The elections will be held on time. I want to make that clear. We can predict that it will be mid-October or the second half of October, so it is already quite close to that date. The elections are fast approaching, and the Polish People's Party's alliance with Poland 2050 is coming into question. The bone of contention is cooperation with Agro-Unia. We are divided over the issue of agro-unions. We don't know what kind of people make them up. A campaign is such a small war, and you take trusted people to war. The third way is formed by the PSL and Poland 2050. In mid-July, Young Poland joined the People's Party. Just a day later, the People's Party was joined by the former Law and Justice Coalition partner, Porozumienie. It is true that to the Polish People's Party, more politicians are coming forward, both those who are in Law and Justice and those who are in the Civic Platform. The fact that there was some dissatisfaction and publicly expressed reluctance on the other side of our third-way election project, I think we're past that. On Thursday, Szymon Hołownia's movement submitted Roman Giertych as an independent candidate in the Senate elections. As for Roman Giertych, he is a bit like a hot potato. No party wanted to nominate him. As part of the Senate pact, some political parties should, though. His run would be most wanted by the Civic Platform, as they work with him quite closely, but apparently they don't have the audacity to nominate this man. Once the election date is announced, the campaign will officially begin. Probably at the end of August, we will know the electoral lists of the United Right. The parliamentary candidates are waiting to find out if they are already on the lists and in which places. I am counting on it, and with us, there are rumors that in mid-August, we will find out. The most important thing for us at the moment is to keep in touch with voters and present our programs. The only grouping of this kind that will focus on the program is the ruling camp. This is normal. They have an impact on reality. Other groupings cannot get into more substantive details. Although according to the latest poll conducted by research partner, Civic Platform will be the second force in the Polish parliament. According to Professor Henryk Domański, the upcoming elections may be a defeat for Donald Tusk's party. There are many indications based on these rules of probability that the Civic Platform will lose to Law and Justice, maybe even lose by a small margin, for example by 2% or even 1%, but they will lose. There is no indication that they will win. The parliamentary elections will most likely take place on October 15th. Pope Francis began the third day of his Portugal visit hearing the confessions of 3 young Catholics from Spain, Italy, and Guatemala in one of the parks hosting the festival. The Pope is in Lisbon for the Catholic Church's World Day of Youth Festival, which ends on Sunday. May these be days in which we fix in our hearts that we are loved as we are, Francis said during a welcoming ceremony with World Youth Day participants in Lisbon. Earlier today, after confessions, the Pope visited a church-run social center in a low-income Lisbon neighborhood. With your behavior, with your commitment, with you getting your hands dirty, with you touching the misery of others, you are generating inspiration. You are generating life. Thank you for that. I thank you with all of my heart. Carry on and don't get discouraged. And if you do, have a glass of water and carry on. I am very happy. To be near him and to touch him was marvelous. Being part of this church where I was baptized, it brings me great joy. I think it's extraordinary. I think this neighborhood needs this. It needs hope. These are outlying neighborhoods that are often forgotten by governments. People from all over the world gathered in Lisbon to participate in the festival and for a chance to see Pope Francis. Today we came here and managed to see the Pope. It was wonderful. I think it was the main point of the trip because I had never seen the Pope before. I am excited. During the ceremony, Pope Francis repeatedly said that there is room for everyone in the church.
He said yesterday, la Iglesia es para todos. So its idea is to make sure that the message of the Christ is inclusive. And for me, it's really important to take that into account, because sadly enough, people have the impression that the church and the faith is something exclusive, and it's not the core of the message.
The event comes less than 6 months after a report by a Portuguese commission saying that at least 4,815 minors were sexually abused by clergy, mostly priests, over 7 decades.
I think it's important that we acknowledge that there have been issues and that there are issues, and that the misdeeds of some are the shame of all, and that we have to own that. But also that there is hope, and I think everyone's searching for something, whether or not they know it's God or something else.
On Wednesday evening, the ceremony in Edward Seven Park was attended by 500,000 people, one of the biggest crowds ever seen in Portugal. Niger's military junta announced Thursday night the termination of several military agreements with France, which specifically addressed the stationing of French soldiers in operations against jihadists. In response to the coup, the Economic Community of West African States, a regional organization of 15 countries, imposed economic sanctions on Niger. In view of France's reaction to the situation, in Niger, the National Council for the Protection of the Fatherland has decided to terminate security and defense cooperation agreements with the country. We thank God for allowing the military to take power from the wrong people. I would like the military to inspect the shopkeepers, most of whom are supporters of the previous regime. They are taking advantage of the situation to raise the prices of consumer goods. These are undermining and sabotaging actions. All citizens support the junta in power, so thank God they have our support, and we are against the sanctions imposed by other countries. Now we are truly free. No one thought this day would come. At last, the people of Niger are free. They can move freely. Hollywood actors, including Jamie Lee Curtis, appeared at the official launch of Project Angel Food, which is expanding to a second location. The organization was founded in 1989 by Marianne Williamson to provide meals for people suffering from HIV and AIDS. Now it also provides for people with life-threatening illnesses and the chronically ill. Lee Curtis spoke to Reuters following a Project Angel Food charity event, for which she is honorary chair. She also spoke out about the Hollywood actors' strike, saying, "I hope I can be Switzerland in all this."
I hope that both sides see the value of continuing conversation. The issues are real, and my hope is that no one will be happy with a settlement, but we will get back to work. And that's just the nature of a settlement, is both sides aren't happy. So we're all going to have to give up something to get something, and I hope that what we get to do ultimately is continue our work, and I'm hoping.
Actor Cheryl Lee Ralph also attended the event as a trustee. Lee Ralph wept as she recalled the early days during the AIDS pandemic.
When we put people first, that is when real change happens. Because every day, Project Angel Food puts people who need the help first.
I want people to know that that happened around the world, and people's response was not one of love, it was one of hatred. And my friends were good people. They were kind people. They were loving human beings who to this day still deserve more just because they're human beings. That's what was going through my mind.
Project Angel Food founder and presidential candidate Marianne Williamson took to the stage and said it was not good news that the organization has expanded so much. Here's what she had to say.
But there should not be, at this point, so many poor people in this city. There should not be so many people hungry in America. There should not be so many people in the richest country in the world who need the services of a Project Angel Food. This is called a rolling emergency. It is not good news that this kind of human suffering is now baked into the cake. That is not good news.
Project Angel Food's new 30,000 square foot campus is expected to be completed by 2027.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please stay tuned for Poland Daily Weather, Poland Daily Business, and some of our other programs. But for me, it's have a wonderful weekend.